says there's a reason why we now have real IDs for airport security.
After 9/11, the 9/11 Commission convened, and one of their key recommendations was to improve identification of those using the air transportation network. And so this Real ID Act was signed in 2005. We've been endeavoring to launch it since then.
The new rule went into effect yesterday. In health news, a new U.S. government study provides the most complete picture yet of early onset cancers, defined as cancer diagnosed before age 50. Scientists found the largest increases in early onset cancers were in breast, colorectal, kidney, and uterine cancers. About 63% of the early onset cancers were among women. Explanations will take more research, but the rise in obesity is one leading theory. More on these stories at townhall.com. I'm John Scott.
The following is an America Matters media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
Vote for me and I'll set you free.
Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. Come together right now over me.
All right, folks, you certainly know what that theme song means by now. That's right. It's time for another episode of America Matters. I'm your host, Leo Zacky, with Eddie Floyd and Joshua Matriciana here on Zacky Radio. Folks, make sure you are tuned in to Zacky Radio on YouTube and Rumble. You can also watch this live broadcast on America Matters Media's Facebook channel and LinkedIn page. And I also want to give a big shout out, hello, welcome, and thank you to everybody tuning on 93.7 KPGF as well as AM 1060 there in the Reno area. And to everybody who's tuned in on Salem, The Answer, Radio for America, the Kevin Jackson Network, and AUN Television. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you to everybody on those platforms and those companies for helping put our broadcasts out there so we can bring you some really cool topics and talk about, well, the truth and give you the real opinion, not the TV biased opinion, the honest, like, hey, we're hanging out, having a few drinks opinion. So, anyways, with that, don't forget, you can also text in at 775-384-4444. So, where should we start off here, Josh?
Let's start off, Josh, if you don't mind, on today's episode title, The War on Children, Lies, Exploitation, and the Fight for Innocence.
That's right, guys. Well, we've got some pretty crazy topics that we're going to be talking about today. Most of it has to do with kids, but also going on with this ongoing theme of overreaching government and how these guys are completely bringing us down when it comes to our personal liberties.
Yeah, well, that's notorious for the government right now. So let's go and talk about what's going on here. We have to restore some justice here because 100 children have just been rescued right now. This is a very big deal.
Wow.
You know, we've been talking about missing kids and this whole border crisis and child trafficking and sex trafficking. Well, it turns out what we've been saying is true the whole time because they just literally rescued over 100 kids in this crazy bust here earlier this month. I mean, we're only 8 days into May. So, I mean, just within the last few days, the U.S. witnessed one of its largest and most coordinated efforts against child exploitation, which we've been saying is going on. Thank you, Joe Biden and your awful administration. So Attorney General Pam Bondi alongside FBI Director Kash Patel. Doesn't that sound good? I love being able to say that. They stood before a room full of reporters to announce the results of Operation Restore Justice in a 5-day nationwide operation that culminated in the arrest of 205 suspected child predators, and most importantly, the rescue of 115 kids.
Yay!
Which is great, but these kids are being abused and horrifically. So this operation involved all 55 FBI field offices combined with the forces of the DOJ, Child Exploitation and Obscenity section, and the U.S. Attorney's offices across the country. And this wasn't just a numbers game. it was a life-saving mission. So, I mean, just some of the details here. I mean, look, it took 5 days. They had the FBI, the DOJ, the U.S. Attorney's Office, local law enforcement involved. They rescued 115 kids and arrested 205 alleged offenders. We'll see how alleged they are when they all get slapped with the guilty. What do you do with scumbags like this, guys? What do you do with them?
Well, first of all, you know what? The other prisoners in the penal institution know
They're
what
gonna
to
have
do with them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they call them chomos, and chomos don't get treated very well in prison.
Yep. Let's put them in Alcatraz. Trump's talking about opening Alcatraz up. That's where they need to go.
Nah, send them somewhere worse. Send them to XBL Honduras or
Yeah, that is worse.
or
Guantanamo
you know
Bay.
what? You know what?
Guantanamo.
Well, how much is 30-06 going for now?
About $2 a bullet.
Well, I'd rather pay $2 than give them 3 hots at a shot.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's a simple fix right there. And you're sex trafficking children, and you're making child porn and sexual abuse material. All sorts of crazy stuff to minors. Like, what kind of sick truck does that?
Well, the worst thing about offense against minors is that you're literally changing the way that these children will interact for the rest of their lives.
Oh, you're scarring them forever.
Yeah, starting with just a few moments versus a few months or weeks or even years in some cases of exploiting children and then reprogramming their brains, and then they have their whole life of scarring of that, and it ruins it. So I mean, there should be different punishments for people who are preying on the innocent.
Amen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's what I'm saying. $2 a bullet. That sounds like that's a quick fix for someone that's that messed up. I mean, you're really ruining these kids' lives. So some of these notable arrests here include a Minnesota State trooper and Army reservist, Jeremy Francis Plonsky, and he's been charged with producing CSAM even while he's in uniform. So that's child sexual abuse material, which I think that means child porn, right? Is that
right?
Code for child porn?
That's it.
Yeah.
Well,
while in uniform.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, seriously. Golly.
Okay, so that's $2. I'll front the bill on that. $2. Then there was 5 people in Houston indicted for trafficking girls aged 14 to 18. All right. I'll front the bill on that. It's another $10.
I'll split it.
You got former Utah charter school director Jared Buckley caught with over 10,000 explicit images and videos. I'll put $4 up on that one. Then
Double
you've got
tap.
Yeah. Then you have a repeated sex offender in North Carolina who's facing new charges in trafficking a child sexual abuse material. I guess that's what we have to call it. Production. Throw another $4 down for me. And then several undisclosed arrests in California, which is just showing how vast and wide this has been going. So, I mean, this is a pretty remarkable case, and it's long overdue. And the fact that, they clearly knew about these people. I don't think this just showed up recently. That's the other big concern of mine. It's how long have we kind of known about this and let this go on? And they're like, oh, well, we got to find the biggest fish. We're going to keep letting this horrible atrocity take place.
You bring up a pretty good point there, because look, this has been just after the president's 100 days in office that they're finally getting some of this stuff done. Why didn't this happen for the previous administration?
Thank you.
It's because they didn't prioritize it. Probably because a lot of people in the previous administration were
taking part in it, indulging in it,
making money on it,
having pizza and hot dog parties at the White House.
Yep.
Right. We've all heard that one. But look, we're a little over on this one. We got to take our first break here on America Matters. We'll wrap this up when we get back. I'm Leo Zacky with Eddie Floyd, Shannon Lawson, and Josh Patriciano. We'll be right back.
At A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, we've been accomplishing happy feet for over 30 years.
We offer a various range of shoe styles and sizes for both men and women. From all-season shoes and orthotics to work boots and safety shoes, our professional and reliable staff possesses the knowledge to help you find the proper shoes to fit your needs. Hard to fit? Hard to find?
A Proper Fit Footwear is here to give our customers happy feet. We make people aware of potential foot problems as we're sizing their feet, suggesting the right arch support, and guiding them to the proper shoes for their needs.
Stop by A Proper Fit Footwear at 4001 South Virginia Street in the Reno Town Mall today, and allow the owner Mike Jones and our fabulous staff to find the perfect pair of shoes tailored to your specific needs.
A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, the home of happy feet, where comfort and your feet meet.
Hi, I'm Nathan Osmond of OsmondHomeLoans.com. I'm part of the elite team at Security Home Mortgage and want to become your preferred lender. There's never been a better time to lock in the rate. Unlike many of our competitors, we will not outsource your loan. Our setup, processing, underwriting, and closing staff are all in-house and will help you every step of the way. If you're looking to buy a home in Utah, or if you live here and wish to take advantage of historically low rates, then I am your mortgage man. Be sure to visit OsmondHomeLoans.com today to receive a free quote. That's OsmondHomeLoans.com.
NMLS number 2043092.
Have you been injured in an accident? Trust Adriana Guzman-Freilich at AGF Law, your local personal injury law firm in Reno. At AGF Law, we pride ourselves on being honest, hardworking, and ethical. Let's meet in person to understand your case and fight for your rights. Located near South Virginia and Plum, we're always ready to help. Don't navigate the aftermath of an accident alone. Call Adriana at 775-453-9595 or visit adrianalegal.com. Your recovery is our priority, and we're committed to getting you the justice you deserve.
Are you shy and don't want to talk on the air? Text us your questions or comments to 775-237-2266. Now back to the show.
All right, folks, we're back with America Matters. I'm Leo Zacky with Eddie Floyd. Shema Lawson, and joining us today is Joshua Matriciana. And, well, we're just talking about what's going on with these kids in this very large bust of, well, just child sex abuse and child trafficking and all the horrible things that come with it, and, well, just some of the people that are involved. So, yeah, and we're going to name those names, which we've done because you need to know who these people are, because if they're being charged with it, it's not like you just, like, accidentally, like, wind up in a situation like that, right?
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, there can be situations where, like, the NSA or, like, the CIA can, like, definitely hack in and, like, put stuff on your computer. But, like, if you're getting, like, caught, like, trafficking kids, you know, or, like, there's, like, actual, like, not AI deep fake footage of you, like, doing, you know, CSAM, which is, you know, child sexual assault material, which is, you know, the new name for, I guess, child pornography. Yeah, we're going to expose you.
Well, I mean, specifically the guy, the Minnesota trooper who there was recording of him in uniform, kind of engaging in these just atrocious acts. I mean, that guy, Jeremy Francis Plonsky, name his name out
all day.
Yeah. You know, today's show, it's not for, you know, the faint of heart. It's for anyone who still believes in protecting the innocent, though. I mean, the war for America's soul starts with what we allow to happen to our children. And part of what we allow is not punishing the people who are causing these crimes.
Well said, Josh.
Yeah. Or worse, those that enable it. Joe Biden, Barack Obama, your administrations, pizza parties. Something's going on. We've known this, but now having a big bust like this, I mean, why does it take so long? Why do we allow this to persist? I mean, I get it. You want to catch the bigger fish. How about go help that kid? Protect the children.
They did this in 5 days, you know, from Minnesota to Utah to California to North Carolina. But
yeah, they found 205 pieces of crap.
205 people in 5 days, man. You think it's that easy to find these guys? How many more if they...
Right, and hold on. And Trump's been in office for a little over 100 days, so you're telling me on average, since Trump's been in office, they magically started building a case on 2 people a day on average? Come on.
Well, this other story that we have here, man, like this takes it to the next level, and it hurts my heart too, because I'm a father. I've got 2 kids, and this started in Texas, but it continued to be in California, which is one of the reasons why we're bringing it up. Not to mention that it's kind of going viral right now because it should. What's going on with this father is really heartbreaking.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The one where he's being essentially forced to pay for his kid's transition. He's divorced, obviously, because, well, this psycho mom here, apparently she's a pediatrician, from what I understand. They're divorced, and he's being forced to pay child support knowing the money directly funds this kid's quote unquote transition, which isn't a transition, it's a mutilation. So there's a court ruling that is forcing the dad to pay this. And I mean, just imagine what's happening, the psychological toll, knowing that it's either he's going to, I mean, but because even if he went to jail, what would they do? I mean, he would destroy his, it's such a hard place to be, and there's so much evidence proving that the mom is just absolutely manipulating the child and getting the child to, want to say, "Oh, I'm a girl," even though he's clearly a boy. There's no confusion, except for what the mother is creating. There's a lot of sick people out there that shouldn't have kids, unfortunately. I feel really terrible for this guy.
Leo, shouldn't this doctor lose her license, in your opinion?
Not only lose her license, but she should be psychiatrically evaluated and locked up.
Right.
For this kind of behavior. I mean, in fact, it's child abuse. So, I mean, do you let her off the hook and put her in a mental institution for what she's doing and deem her insane, or do you lock her up in prison because she's abusing this child?
Well, the sick twist to this whole situation here is that in the state where she was where they were in initially, which was Texas, this wouldn't have been allowed. So the mother moved to California,
Wow.
because of Assembly Bill 957, which would require judges to favor the parent affirming a child's gender identity. It was vetoed, but she moved to California because this is the state that allows that. They wouldn't do it in Texas.
My God.
So again, it's talking about rule of law, how the government can protect the innocent or enable. Well, in this case, we think the highly manipulative psychopath.
Oh, no doubt. That's so wild. So let me get this straight here. If a parent flees to California, the courts will pretend like the other parent doesn't exist. And so SB 107 doesn't protect kids, it protects ideologues from accountability.
That's right.
All right. This is the big issue here. We've got too many insane rules here. I mean, this is crazy, because now you have, interstate jurisdiction going on. So, because according to, the reality is like in Texas, the father, Jeff, had joint custody in a fair deal where both parents had to agree on major medical steps. But when, I guess his ex-wife moved to California, they just chose to ignore the out-of-state custody rulings, and that even means what they call gender-affirming care. This is nuts.
This is absolutely, I mean, look, man, this is absolutely crazy. But first of all, we're looking at California, which, here's the thing, being a father, also being divorced, California does happen to be a state that's really for fathers' rights in a lot of situations because California is all for gay marriage and situation. Then you have to have equal rights between father and father. So weirdly, California actually is pretty good when it comes to fathers' rights. However, that's being trumped by California's zealous kind of stance on gender affirming care. So that's kind of like what we're dealing with here. It's like, okay, yeah, usually fathers have, but back here, it's still the mother always has in any situation. It's just that California, the father has slightly better than every other state. But really, the law tends to, go on the side of the mother. If it was the father trying to change, his son and tell his son that he was actually a girl and change his name to Luna or whatever they're doing, that would be differently. But if the mother does it, weirdly, the state protects that. I'm not sure.
I mean, this is. Ugh. I mean, look, this isn't like a hate thing. Like when it comes to this transition stuff, it's like literally about this kid is way too young to, one, know these things, two, take any sort of steps, whether it's, medically induced, stuff that they're doing beforehand, or just even going through and having like surgery where they remove his genitals. Like, this is like way, 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 way too young. And it's crazy because the mom is a friggin' doctor, a pediatrician. And what's her freaking name? Dr. Ann Georgioulas. Ugh. This is crazy. How can... I mean, look, you guys have seen What is a Woman, right? You saw that wackadoodle pediatrician that was all about it. I mean, that's the kind of mindset. This is something mentally wrong with these people. They get so caught up in this ideology. This is not normal. This is not healthy. This kid is gonna, well, he's already gonna have a lot of trauma just this whole situation. But I mean, imagine if they start giving him drugs, and which they're probably already doing, right?
Yep. Just imagine what he's going to have to suffer on the schoolyards, Leo.
Oh my God. I mean, because we've seen these cases of detransitioners, right? At least that's what they're called. And they're like, I can't believe I went through this. I have permanent damage to my body. I'm never going to be able to have children. I have all these other health side effects from this. And then most of these people that wind up going through these transitions, they wind up killing themselves before they're 40.
Right.
And I've heard a lot of these, these people who've transitioned then regret it. It's like, why didn't anyone warn us? Why didn't anyone tell us how crazy this was to do? That it was, like you can't reverse. It's irreversible.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you why. Because there's money involved.
Yeah,
that's what this is about. It's all money, and it's not health. This isn't healthcare. Enabling somebody's, and again, the child's being weaponized by the deranged mother, no doubt about it. And it's just so sad. It's just so sad to hear about this.
Amen.
The mother's deranged. The kid's a victim. And even if the kid was the one who was leading the charge on this, like, then you would just basically be enabling the child's mental illness. And instead of placating this mother's like woke fantasies and trying to stand out, treating the child like it's a purse dog.
The thing that, I think where the government should take a role in this is, again, we've got a theme here talking about protecting the innocent, even from the deranged mother, protecting children from predators, but also protecting children from themselves in the sense that they're not old enough to make a decision that's going to permanently affect the rest of their lives. Okay, if you want to get a tattoo, you have to be 18 because it's going to be there for the rest of your life.
Right.
But if you want to, chop your bits off, you can start that transition as early as 4, 5, 6 years old. In this case, the little guy was 2 years old when his mom started feeding this into him.
Oh,
wow.
So crazy. I mean, like, talking about, like, you can't even drive a car, and they're like, oh yeah, they can totally make that consent to lop off their genitals. Can't even drive a car, or buy a pack of cigarettes or drink a beer even, they can't even, they're not even old enough to go to war, and they're doing that. So, I mean, this is state sanctioned abuse here, and California's leading the charge in it because it's woke and broken. We're going to stop all this stuff. And speaking of state-sanctioned abuse cases, wait till you hear what Pam Bondi's uncovered in the Epstein files. So,
right,
I'm going to bring that to you guys when we get back from this bottom of the hour break here. I'm Leo Zacky with Eddie Floyd, Shannon Lawson, and Joshua Matriciano today. We'll be right back.
The Delta and Bonanza saloons in Virginia City are simply elegant. Imagine ascending the grand staircase and being surrounded by the Victorian elegance and grandeur of the historic banquet rooms. Original crystal chandeliers, mahogany bars, and oak dance floors highlight the eloquently appointed spaces. A truly romantic and unique setting for your wedding, banquets, or holiday parties. Detailed ceremony and menu planning ensures your special event is a memorable occasion. With just one call to Jesse at 775-847-0789, all of your arrangements will be handled by by their experienced staff with your every expectation in mind, including cakes, flowers, photography, videography, music, and party amenities. Complete ceremony and reception packages are available as well as their famous themed weddings. Since 1865, the Delta and Bonanza Saloon's guests have come from every state in the union. Now it's your turn. No event is too large or too small. Let the Delta and Bonanza Saloons plan your next incredible event. Call Jesse at 775-847-0789.
I used to love going for long walks, but my back just doesn't cooperate like it used to.
Same here. But ever since I started a routine with Active Life Integrated Health on Moana Lane, I feel more flexible and in control. You should check them out.
This is Dr. Tom Waldorf. Let's make it happen so you can feel better naturally. To schedule the beginning of your transformation, call 775-842-0065 or visit activelifereno.com online.
In times of market volatility, it can be a good reminder to revisit your financial strategies to make sure they align with your goals. Call 775-674-2222 or visit nvretirementplanners.com. Advisory services are offered through Nevada Retirement Planners, an investment advisor in the state of Nevada. Any insurance products and services are offered through Nevada Senior Advisors. Nevada Retirement Planners are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any government agency. Nevada Retirement Planners does not provide legal or tax advice.
To join the conversation, call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Now, back to the show.
All right, folks, we are back with America Matters. I'm Leo Zacky with Eddie Floyd, Shannon Lawson, and Joshua Matriciana, and we were just, telling you about what's going on with one case here with this child. And I don't know if you guys wanted me to play that video or not. Should we play it?
Yeah, it's a heartbreaking video, man. It definitely needs to get a little more
I
attention.
didn't realize we had a video about this. So here, I want to share this with you guys, and then we'll move on to the next subject. But take a listen to hear what's going on with this father in this case here. So if you can play that for us, Jeff.
California says that I have to pay for the chemical and physical castration of my son as child support. Started when my son was about 2 years old. My ex-wife, who's a pediatrician, started thinking that he might be a girl and started trying to transition him to a girl. When I tried to put a stop to that, she filed for divorce and used her relationships with care providers to force me out of my house. She would put him into timeout and say, "Don't be a boy. The monsters only eat boys." Weird things like this. James never presented as a girl with anyone but his mom. At church, with me, with his friends, he dressed as a boy and called himself James. I asked him one time, "Why are you doing that?" He just flat out told me, he said, "Well, mommy doesn't love me if I'm not a girl." You're a boy, right?
No, I'm a girl.
Who told you you're a girl?
Mommy.
So mommy told you you're a girl?
Uh-huh.
Does mommy do anything else like with a girl with you?
Mm-hmm.
Like what?
Like dresses.
What does she do?
She do put them on me.
She puts dresses on you? Oh, wow.
She buys my headbands.
Uh-huh.
And she get me hair clips.
Oh, hair clips? Okay. What else? Does she do anything with your fingers?
Yeah.
What?
She paints my nails.
So mommy puts you in a dress and puts nail polish on you?
Mm-hmm.
And what does mommy tell you?
She tells me I'm a girl.
Oh, okay. Do you think you're a girl?
Uh-huh.
That's crazy.
That's so sad.
There's some sick people in this world. There's so many different ways to abuse children. And this is coming from someone who used to get the crap beat out of him by his father and had a horrible, mentally abusive mother growing up, okay, in a divorced home. So there's a lot of ways you can abuse children. It doesn't have to be sexually, but this kind of behavior from that mother is despicable. So anyways.
Well, on that note, man, like we're talking about the corruption of innocence. How kids are so impressionable; they only believe what they're told, and they're too young to make up their own minds. And Pam Bondi, she, with this speech coming up, she's talking about again the exploitation of children.
Well, that's the whole thing surrounding this whole Epstein Island. I mean, this child sex predator fantasy funland for celebrities. I want to know who the hell is on that list. So she's saying that she's going to be revealing some details about the Epstein Island and all the pornographic stuff that they found there. So, if you thought Epstein was just about the rich and powerful, it was about an industrial scale assault on innocence and an industrial institutional cover up, for all the global elites that were there. So let's play that clip real quick now.
James Comer said yesterday that all the Epstein files are missing. They still haven't heard from you.
No, the FBI, they're reviewing, there are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And there are hundreds of victims. And no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going through that. I haven't seen that statement, but I'll call him later and find out.
Martin seems to be facing a very
Wow.
Well, I mean,
there you have it.
We kind of knew that.
Well, again, she keeps calling for it to happen. She keeps saying, hey, she wants the full disclosure. They did disclose one new thing, which has never happened before. And they're talking about the pornographic evidence of children. And she's saying there's tens of thousands of videos here that no one's ever mentioned before. Finally, hey, at least we can take incremental steps, to get this out there. Of course.
But why so slow? Why so slow, Josh? This is ridiculous.
Well, you understand, and this is the thing that, there's a lot of theories being thrown around, Epstein's family ties to Mossad and their, the Secret Service, there's a lot of ties there, and there's a lot of interesting things going on. Like, I think just today, someone was talking about, actually, now to bring this up, I just remembered.
So what Mossad means, because Mossad's involved, that we have to slow down this process?
No. I'm saying that just today, I think it was James O'Keefe talks about how the Prince of England, I forget his name.
Oh, yeah. I know you're talking about.
Right. And I know that Prince Andrew, right? And Prince Andrew claimed innocence, and then it's found out that actually, no, he was involved in, abuse against children. And it's that, and this is probably why it's been so slow in coming out. It's because there's very powerful people with very perverse family members who would do anything to uphold their quote unquote reputation. So, it's easy to say the truth. It's hard to say the truth with a gun at your head. You know what I mean? Maybe that wasn't the best example.
I'll say this. Yes, our assumptions, quote unquote, are all being slowly proven to be true. So we know that these high profile people with endless influence, power, and money are a part of this. And of course, that makes sense that would be the slowing down of the process in their attempts to sort of make it go away or erase the evidence, because there's still corrupt people that are in the way in these channels. And I don't understand why Donald Trump or Pam Bondi doesn't just go over their heads and say, you know what? You're going to give me all this stuff. I have the authority to do that. You will give it to me. I'm releasing it. End of story.
Amen.
Unless there's some blackmail going on them, or they're somehow involved. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to make, I know I'm making assumptions here, but I mean, we do know that there's photos with Trump with Jeffrey Epstein, multiple photos, who knows? But
there's this show from, it used to be a radio show, and then it was a TV show, I think in the 60s, but it was called The Shadow. And the tagline is as, who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? Right. The Shadow knows. We need the Shadow because he knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men and stops them.
This is freaking nuts, man.
Not that I'm talking, not that I'm encouraging some Batman or Shadow superhero type person to go in there. What are they called? Vigilante justice. But gosh, wouldn't it be nice to kind of daydream about, see a little vigilante justice in some of these?
You like some V for Vendetta stuff?
I'm all about quick and swift punishment to the people who are really truly bad.
Yes, I am too. And I'm really against the fact that there are so many of these sick, twisted individuals that are in political places of power that are dictating to us on how we can live and what we can do, because it's rules for thee, not for me, when it comes to these evil, sick people. This is the problem. You know, you've got the globalist controlled media propping up the globalist perverted leaders, and I'm sure, I mean, just like the guy on CNN who was jerking off, on camera. You know, all these people, they're all connected in one way or the other. They're all propping up each other. They're all keeping each other employed and in power, and they're all tied to this weird stuff. Yeah. And we're all subject to their influence and decision making.
You know, I was reading this book the other night, and it talks about how power actually attracts the worst types of people. So it's not necessarily always that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely, but power, like a moth to the flame, attracts the people who want to abuse that and who desire for the power, and the worst parts of humanity tend to go to these places where they can lord themselves over other people. And I think that, even in the case that you said previously, how one of those people was the school supervisor for, and found all this, what do you call it? CSAM on his computer. And yet he's the one who's in control of a school. I mean,
right. Right. It's amazing how they find their ways into these vulnerable places.
If you really were put, and this is the thing where you have, like, for
it's
example,
the whole fox watching the hen house sort of thing.
Yeah.
Or the coyote watching the duck pen.
If you knew that you had unlimited power, unlimited financing, and that you could get away from it, get away with anything, get away with murder or abuse or anything, would you? And that's, I think, that the question that needs to be posed to every single elected official. If you could get away with it, would you still do it?
That's what psychopaths do. They do what they want to do, and they'll do anything against all odds. Last I checked, if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong here, a psychopath is someone who will do anything to achieve whatever goal it is, irrelevant on how it impacts people around them. So whether it's good or bad, they'll just do it. So, like, even if it hurts other people, destroys lives and families, they will do it. So if 1% of the planet is a psychopath, so what is that, 80 million people out of 8 billion? And then you take the top 1% of the 1%, 800,000, okay? That's way more than enough to run every government and government agency around the world.
Right.
We've talked about this before. There needs to be a moral baseline. When you remove God from the situation, when you remove morality from the situation, and you let people do whatever they want with, they're not going to hell because they don't believe in hell, or, I can, abuse this person because there's no, consequence in this life or the one after. I think that's a dangerous world that we're moving towards.
Which is why anarchy will never work. And anybody who says they're an anarchist is completely just an idiot. I'm sorry, but you're missing the point. Like, you can't have an anarchist society because those are contradictory notions. It's impossibility.
Right.
Anyways, that's what's going on with all this. So, well, we do have more to talk about when we get back from this last break here. We're going to talk about child labor that's going on in California. So I'm Leo Zacky with Eddie Floyd, Shannon Lawson, and Joshua Matriciana. We'll be right back.
We're talking to Victor from Precision Diamonds. Victor, we have talked before about the fact that you started 27 years ago in Park Lane Mall in a little kiosk. You are now in your own building across the street from the convention center. You've had to do something right.
Well, as we like to think that hard work, you like to think that it does pay off, but you get lucky along the way. You worked hard, you pay attention, and you get yourself ready. So hopefully when the right opportunity comes up to buy a beautiful building like we just have, you triple your size, you cut your overhead by half, and now you know that you're more competitive than ever.
Plus, you've had a chance to use all of the things you learned from that little kiosk in Park Lane Mall.
Oh man, along the way, I'll tell you, as far as writing that lease check every month, boy, there were times that it was really hard to do, so you learn from your landlords, and it was really great feeling to say goodbye to the landlord. This has allowed us to truly become your local jeweler, your personal shopper.
Thank you, Victor. Precision Diamonds, your local jeweler across from the convention center.
Families of deceased and cremated veterans can apply to receive commemorative plaques or urns from VA if they do not want to inter their loved ones in a VA National Cemetery or receive a government-furnished headstone marker or medallion for placement in any cemetery. Commemorative urns are used to hold the remains of a deceased cremated veteran, and commemorative plaques are designed to hang on a wall. If a family chooses a plaque or an urn, VA is prohibited by law from interring that veteran's remains in a VA National Cemetery or from providing a headstone marker or medallion for placement in any cemetery. To be eligible, the veteran must have served in the armed forces on or after April 6, 1917, and must be eligible for a headstone or marker under 38 U.S.C. 2306D, and the veteran's remains must have been cremated with no portion of the remains interred at any location. For more information about the NCA memorial options, go to the VA website or contact David Otler, a NV Veterans Advocate with Walton's Funeral and Cremation, 775-843-1901.
Want to expand your advertising dollar? Sponsor this or any America Matters program by calling 775-827-8900, extension 2. Now back to the show.
We hear you loud and clear, Leo.
Okay, now it says I'm on stage. All right, there must be a delay going on. Anyways, we're back with America Matters. I'm Leo Zacky with Eddie Floyd, Shamma Lawson, and Joshua Matriciana. And we wanted to move over into the child labor that is apparently back here in California. And, Dave Rubin has exposed how illegal immigration and economic collapse have allowed widespread child labor to resurface, particularly in the agricultural and blue state economies. So, according to California, they ban kids from praying in school, but let's let them pick fruit in 100-degree fields. And that's progressive utopia.
We've got
Right?
Yeah. I mean, we've got a great video here, man. David did this whole segment on it, but this is just a highlight reel. Do you want me to play it?
Run it.
All right.
I'm going to tell you something. He said the current administration is allowing these kids to come across the border, and the kids are being processed by ICE, and they're being transported then to Uncle Juan in Arizona. And we're now looking at the files going, we've sent 900 kids to Uncle Juan in Arizona. He isn't an uncle. Yeah. And he said, we're giving them meals and we're paying to transport them. And he told me, Mo, this is going to hit big. This is going to come out in the media. He told me 2 years before Hannah Dryer's article in the New York Times. That was for me the most shocking thing, the number of children. You know what I mean? Because this stuff is happening in India and Pakistan. It should not be happening in California, in LA, and certainly not even in this country.
Oh man, Uncle Juan's got a lot of brothers and sisters that have been quite busy, is what it sounds like.
Yep.
Again, man, this goes back to what we were talking about before. Like, there is implicit involvement of government agencies involved in this. It's not just happening, in the back alleys. It is being rubber stamped and approved by people who've been voted into these positions.
Right, which is the whole point that we've been talking about for years with the Biden administration on what's going on with the kids, what's happening at the border. This is a big problem. And then these NGOs and then these other government agencies, like even, Border Patrol and stuff like that are just like passing them out and go, here you go here, go there. So the government has been, like you said, complicit with this whole situation. And when we talk about stuff, especially stuff involving kids, you got to put this party line crap aside. This ain't left or right anymore, okay? We're talking right versus wrong, good versus evil here, okay? Truth versus exploitation, all right? Whether we protect America's future or not is up to us in the way we choose to go about it. Because we're going to get devoured by predators in suits and robes. I mean, it's really that simple. Whether they're judges or presidents, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There are so many things going on that are impacting our kids in this country. And even if they're not our kids, just kids in general. And it's been allowed to take place in this country at such an egregious level. But this stuff happens all around the world, but it should definitely not be happening here in America. So when you bust 205 child sex offenders, rescue 115 kids in the first 100 days in office in one 5-day action, then you follow it up with, hey, we just found out Uncle Juan over here in Arizona's got 900 nieces and nephews. What the hell is going on? Don't you want to know?
I mean, this couple hundred or the hundred and so kids that they thank God they recovered. However, it's just a drop in the bucket to what 300. How many thousand?
384,000, I think, is the number I last heard.
Are missing? Like, still, that number to me just blows my mind. I can't even wrap my head around how big that number is.
Right. So between the 900 kids that Uncle Juan has and the 115 they just rescued, we're 384th of the way to finding all the kids. That's 0.3%.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a drop in the bucket. That's that's what you're saying. And again, there are actionable things though that we can do. We're not just going to sit back on the sidelines and say, "Oh, someone else will fix it." No.
That's right. We got to support child advocacy groups. We got to expose the bias in the media. We got to encourage you guys out there that are listening to go and speak at these school board meetings, share the stories, and resist the legal overreach. They're going to try and say, "Oh, how dare you do this?" And they'll slap some court order or some crap like that. No. You go tell them to take that court order and shove it. All right, Johnny Paycheck style. You don't mess with kids. And we know that this has been going on. We know that the judges are complicit with this. We know that they've been allowed to operate in the ways they are. And I don't care if they want to hide behind the guise of woke progressivism. Okay. Our kids are being sold into sex slavery. They're being sexually abused. They're being forced into child labor. They're kids. They're freaking kids, man. There's zero tolerance on this. So when you hear about a good child advocacy group, and there's plenty of them out there, Josh, I'm sure you know of a few. So go help them out. I mean, this is why what was that movie that came out? I'm blanking on it right now. Where they're talking about all this rescuing kids and stuff like that. And what the hell was that movie called?
Right. Yeah, that was the one with the guy who played Jesus. In the Passion of the Christ, I believe he's involved in it, right?
Oh, I'm so sorry, folks. I'm blanking on this one big time. What is it freaking called? And anyways, look, there's organizations out there that are actively going out, regardless of our government. Don't forget, anything the government does is dog water. Okay, they do a terrible job at it. That's why they've only found 115 kids and stopped 205 sexual child predators in this country in the first 100 days, when they should probably know about a hell of a lot more, and they probably do. But I mean, it's like you catch wind of this stuff. Like, how long do you marinate on this thing? You just go in, right? Wouldn't that be the right thing to do?
Right. I mean, and the movie that you were trying to remember, Sound of Freedom.
There you go. Sound of Freedom. Yeah. Sound of Freedom. Guys like that are going in and literally like ex-military guys that are going in and they're kicking in doors and they're taking names, no nonsense stuff. That's the kind of stuff that we need, Josh. Those are the people we need to be supporting because, look, good job, FBI. Good job. Took you 100+ days to make a 5-day move. All right. I'm sorry, in the 21st century here, 2025, where I'm supposed to have flying cars, this is not acceptable. Good that it's happening, but still, like, not good enough. Right. It's kind of like that day late, dollar short kind of crap.
Yeah, and the group that the Sound of Freedom film was talking about was Operation Underground Railroad.
Yes,
that was the one that was doing so much good. And first of all, let's just take a step back and I want to say grateful to the whistleblowers out there, because this has been happening for decades and it has been ramping up. But it's only in the past several years that it's actually finally kind of been I don't want to even say allowed, but forced to be part of the mainstream conversation. even if the the mainstream news doesn't.
Right. Well, that's because of people out there
talked about it, and
Right.
Kash Patel just talked about it in front of all the media. Are they going to cover it? Not really, but we are.
Right, but that's because we the people are having this great awakening, as Alex Jones says. This great awakening is taking place in this country, and we are voicing our opinions, and we are speaking out about this, and we're using social media, even as much as they try to silence us. It's gotten a little bit better, but it's not where it should be.
No, we're not. Either we're not outraged enough.
Oh no, we're not.
Yeah.
Definitely not. I'm sorry, but everybody's too damn comfortable, and so many people are indoctrinated with lies. I mean, I don't even understand why people like X or Twitter so much. I mean, it's just a bunch of just people just slinging hate at each other on there. It's just it's such an awful platform. It was like, oh, look at all the followers I have on Twitter. Twitter's the best. So, I mean, X, Elon saved us. Ugh. No, he didn't.
Well, there's still a lot of trolls no matter where you go on the internet. A lot of them are on X, a lot of them are on Instagram, a lot of them are on everywhere. But the conversation still needs to come back to what you exactly said. It's either we're not outraged enough or we're being brainwashed.
It's both.
Yep.
That's what it is. You've got people that are convinced that everything is fine and dandy in the world. Hey, did you hear California is actually the 4th largest economy? It's not falling. It's actually doing really good considering Gavin Newsom's such a great leader. And all these businesses are leaving and people are moving out of the state. That's what it needed. It needed to shed about 2 million people and 1 million jobs. That's what it needed to do.
This makes me laugh because first of all, he's such a clown, but there's everyone else who literally tells us the opposite of what we're watching unfold. It's like, oh, gas prices aren't high. I can feel it at the pump.
Bro, it's literally $5.35. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Oh, the price of groceries is down. No, it's not. It's 20% more than it was in the previous period. It's
it's down from the highest point that we saw it last week, but that doesn't mean it's down. It's all how they verb this crap.
It's gaslighting. It's gaslighting, and we're victims to this. All the time on a national level, on a global level. Let's be honest here. It's happening not just in America. It's happening all over the world with all the mainstream news. They're telling us things that just aren't true. When are we going to stand up and be like, hey, that's not true? I don't believe it. I see my eyes say different.
I'm standing up right now. That's why I'm dumb enough to run for governor, because I don't care about this stuff anymore. I don't care what people are going to say about me. You want to hate me? That's your own damn fault because you didn't take the time to learn about me, you ignorant truck. So do something. Be brave. Stand up. I can't stand this stuff. I can't stand this. Everybody's just so complacent with how things are. And when you have children being abused in this manner, and it's just like, oh, well, whatever. Not my kid.
Oof,
not my neighborhood.
Not my kid, not my problem, right?
Right? No, everybody's forgot about Asheville, North Carolina. Everybody's forgot about East Palestine. Nobody's talking about, the Palisades fire that much, and or the Eaton fire. Nobody's talking about it because, oh well, it's old news. Move on, right?
We're all distracted by the shiny new thing that's in front of us, whether it's a story or a poll or something like that. But we need more people like you, Leo. We need more people who are impassioned.
Amen.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's a good place, I suppose. We'll see all of you guys tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. See you at noon.